When it's not just about vanity, when it's not just about your body, when it's not just about what can you gain, all this type of stuff, that's when you're going to start cultivating this. Giving into immediate gratification. If you're giving into immediate gratification, things are going to easily gratify you immediately. And so therefore, you're going to be fed more immediate gratification, scrolling, bad food. You're going to be just so much immediate gratification. And then you're going to wonder, why don't I know how to delay gratification better? Not trusting yourself or others. If you keep putting that self-sabotage, not trusting yourself or others, and you put that out, you're going to have a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you're going to keep telling yourself and give yourself reasons to believe this. You want to be right. You want to be right. And you will be right. You are always right. Everyone's always right. But I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds like you've never heard that before. But everyone is right in their own paradigm. They have conceptualized through their self-concept, whether they're living more in the lowercase self or more in the uppercase self, more in the collective self or more in the interpersonalized ego self, they're still going to always be right. So by fulfilling that, not trusting yourself or others, okay, then you're going to always give yourself more perpetuating belief systems to believe that you can't trust yourself, But you could also do the opposite with selfless self-care. So you start showing up for yourself and you start doing things that are hard. You start doing more difficult things, more disciplined things. And as you start cultivating that and doing that type of thing, you start focusing on yourself rather than distracting yourself. You start, building more green flags rather than ignoring red flags. You start, approaching conflict and approaching bettering things from conflict rather than avoiding conflict. You start to be more tonic in your behavior, not toxic in your behavior. You start to live more in love rather than in fear. Then you live more in the selfless self-care, where you're going to be more in the aspects where you're doing things that you don't want to do. You wake up early, you eat clean, you start training, you start caring for people, you start talking people up even who talk shit on you, you start loving people who even talk shit on you, you start forgiving and having compassion on yourself. You start being patient with yourself. And as you start creating these placebos, you start to actually put this out, and then your brain will give itself a reason to believe that these things are real, and you will prophesy self-fulfilling belief systems where you will fulfill that belief system. So this is really what it is. It's starting to set boundaries and cultivate different types of things, okay? Self-fulfilling prophecy is a prediction that directly or indirectly causes itself to become true by the very terms of the prophecy itself due to the positive feedback loop between belief and behavior. Literally what I was just saying. The cycle of belief. Your success depends on your ability to cultivate belief within yourself, about yourself, what you're doing, and what you're capable of. So you say you can do it, you can do it. Like Henry Ford said. When you say that you could do something, you could do it. When you say that you can't do something, generally you can't do it. Because you've made up in your mind what you can and can't do. You think what you become, you feel what you attract, you imagine what you create. People who succeed have the momentum. The more they succeed, the more they want to succeed and have more momentum to succeed. Similarly, when someone is failing, the tendency is to get on a downward spiral that can even become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Tony Robbins, okay? Don't let your fear of failure become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Let your love of success become a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's one I made up. The things you tell yourself have a 50-50 chance of being right, okay? And I would actually say it's a spectrum of 50-50. So like as you start having more positive feedback loops because this is inherently, it is the Doppler effect. As you start to fulfill that 50-50 will actually turn more into 70-30, 80-20. And you'll start to get more toward the Pareto principle, where you are leaning more towards easy success. Our beliefs about ourselves and our beliefs about others influence our actions towards others and our actions towards ourselves, which impact others' beliefs about themselves and others' beliefs about ourselves, which causes others' actions toward us and other actions toward ourselves to reinforce our beliefs about others and about ourselves. So I want you to kind of write that down, jot that down. And this is called the Pygmalion effect, the lion effect. Be careful how you think, why you think, what you think, when you think, where you think, because your thoughts shapes your life. Your thoughts shape your life. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are both generally right. Fear, becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy, thinking that there is something to be avoided manifests something to avoid. So as you start to love, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, thinking that there is something to fulfill, thinking that there is something that you already have, the law of assumption, thinking that self-concept, thinking that you already have something, thinking that you already are rich, thinking that you already are successful, thinking that you already are in a great relationship, thinking that you already are divine, thinking that you already are amazing, thinking that you already are beautiful. You will give yourself manifestations that will create that thing. Okay? Let's finish up with a couple of more. Whatever we expect, we're talking about expectations and assumptions. So whatever we expect or assume or imply with confidence, whatever we imply with confidence. So that's how you start using your words, with implying. Whatever we expect, imply, or assume with confidence, self-confidence, okay? Others' confidence, assuming that other people have confidence in us. Remember, what we assume in our assumptions becomes our own self-fulfilling prophecy to fulfill for self and what we will see in our reality. So if pessimism becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, it reproduces itself by crippling our willingness to act. But if optimism becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, it produces in and of itself expansion of willingness to act. Wow, fantastic. If you make prophecy vague enough, something will fit it eventually, especially if you add a few self-fulfilling ones, like walls will fall down or great storms will happen. There is no prophecy in the Bible which isn't vague or self-fulfilling. Wow, that's powerful. That's a good one to end on. Now, I do want you guys to understand this, guys. I do want you guys to understand this. That when people say men ain't shit, they're going to continuously find men that ain't shit. When you say that you aren't shit yourself, or when you talk yourself down, and when you have self-criticism, there is that voice inside of you that will perpetuate and re-perpetuate that self-criticism. That is why we don't necessarily speak more positive. We just speak less negative, or we just assume less negative, because that will already inherently assume that we are being more positive and being more neutral. So I want you guys to understand that telling yourself that I am strong, you ensure that you stay strong. If you say that you can, you ensure that you can. If you say that you are able, you will find and set up a self-fulfilling prophecy that you are able. As I think of myself, so shall I be. Peace, much love. This is Self-Fulfilling Prophecy. You guys have a wonderful day. This is a very big concept. It is tied to self-concept and law of assumption. Check out Neville Goddard. Check out different books in my bookstore all about, I would definitely say get the Neville collection, or it's 10 books, and I do all these different types of exercises. I've been doing this for about a year in the law of assumption. I've known of the law of assumption for multiple years. Check out my course. I get into all these different types of things. If you sign up for my course fully, you guys will have half off of my one-on-one, so we can actually meet one-on-one. So I hope that inspires you guys to build, to grow, to cultivate your success, and also start being more positive and being less negative in your life. Peace, much love. Talk to you guys soon. Namaste.